And we are live. Bang on time. How about that?
That is on the dot. Swiss timing, that is.
Swiss timing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It is time for another Coin Bureau Clips Wednesday live stream on the day that we learned that Sam Bankman-Fried, his laptop has a new battery. Jessica, do you think you'll always remember where you were when you heard that news?
We saw this news and we were like, we have to come on the live and talk about it because this is breaking news. No, that was some of the bear market news that we did see today. There were some slower headlines.
Yeah, obviously before we do a live stream like this, we have a look through some of the crypto news sites, have a look through Twitter, sort of see what is going on, see what people are talking about. And when clicked on CoinDesk, which is obviously one of our main sources, we saw this headline, and this was like top of the page. Sam Bankman-Fried's laptop has a new battery now, DOJ says, and it was just like, oh, it's going to be a bit of a slow news day. Now, obviously, this I think this does have some sort of relevance because it's all to do with his access to materials for his trial, and defense materials for his trial. So it's probably not quite as trivial as the headline suggests, but I don't know, you look at that and you think, wow, we are most definitely in a bear market, aren't we?
Yeah, I was looking through Crypto Planet today and there was one meme coin article that came out that said the name of meme coin spiked 2% because of this news. And I thought, if it's a 2% spike in crypto, it's crypto winter up here today, guys.
2%. That's what we're hanging our hats on at the moment. 2%.
Almost too much gains.
Yeah, too much for some. So thank you everyone for joining us. Jessica, you were saying before we came on air that you think your mum might be watching this live stream.
I'm hoping my mum is watching the live stream, and hello to everyone else as well. If my mum is not watching, I'm still joined by plenty of you guys.
Yeah.
And there's people from all over the world tuning in as always, which is awesome to see.
Yep, including from Wales. Neil is tuning in from Wales. So there we go. We have our first Welshman. Where else are people? From Montreal, from Bath. Oh, lovely Bath. From Portugal, from the UK in general, from Brighton, from Nigeria, from Ukraine, from Florida. I think anyone Welsh who's into crypto watches religiously now. Yes, I think you're probably right.
This makes my heart so happy. I cannot even explain to you all.
There we are. Every Welsh person into crypto must religiously watch these live streams every single week. It's you we're doing it for, guys. Argentina, from Scotland, from Michigan, from Egypt, from Bahrain, from Houston, Texas, a few from Australia, from Maine, from Denmark, Morocco, another Michigan, Argentina. Oh, I've already said there. Switzerland, Spain, West Yorkshire, Canada, Holland, everywhere. Basically, I think every country in the world, including, of course, North Korea. We always have at least one viewer from North Korea. Yeah. So hello, GM to anyone watching in North Korea. GM to everyone, or good afternoon, GA. Poland as well. Okay, so you are joining us, as I said, on the day that we learned that Sam Bankman-Fried's laptop has a new battery. The DOJ have confirmed that. I can confirm that news is real and out there. So obviously we'll just be returning religiously to this story throughout the live stream. But yeah, thank you for joining us today. We are, I don't know, I think we may be in sort of peak bear market. What do you think, Jessica?
I would say so. And we have some topics today that we're going to be covering. And the kind of consensus that we've gathered is that it is building in a bear market, which is actually quite nice to see. We've got some nice building news for you guys as well. But absolutely, the markets do seem kind of slow right now. We're seeing a kind of lackluster momentum in the markets, but you guys are still here. As you guys know, this is a time to educate yourself in the bear market. This is a time to accumulate and kind of lay out your positions and your strategy. So this is the best time to be in crypto.
Absolutely. Do we should do when the bull market comes back and everyone's interested in crypto again, we should do a sort of limited edition line of t-shirts, maybe with a screenshot of this live stream and sort of, I was there 6/9/23. Something like that, for all you folks who are still tuning in to crypto live streams when most of the rest of the people have all gone. So well done you guys, well done you. Okay, so yes, as Jessica said, we're going to talk about a few stories that, that do talk about building going on in the bear market. There is positive stuff happening out there.
Yeah.
We also need to decide over the course of the stream whether Jessica should go to a crypto event here in Dubai tonight. Now, she was originally very keen, but you then checked on Google Maps and realized how far away it was, and now you're on the fence. Is that right?
40 minutes, guys. 40 minutes drive without Dubai traffic at kind of peak rush hour, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. as well. And we're both early birds, aren't we? We both wake up around 5 a.m.
Yep.
And I'm normally in bed by kind of 9 p.m. So it's...
I know. I got to bed fairly late last night because I was doing a Twitter space that started at 6. So I didn't get home until about sort of 8:30. And then had dinner with Katie, and just sort of got to bed about sort of around 10 o'clock, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. I felt like a complete degenerate. That's my life at the moment, folks. Not as exciting as you might think. So yeah, we need to decide whether Jessica is going to go to this event tonight, or whether she's just going to quietly sack it off.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, share your thoughts. If you do want me to go along and give you guys a little bit of an update, we can talk about it next time we're on a live stream. Speaking of events, before we get into the news, you've got Token 2049 in Singapore next week.
Yeah, that's right. Flying to Singapore on I don't actually know when to fly to Singapore, either this weekend or early next week. Flying to Singapore at some point in the next few days. Token 2049 is on the 13th and 14th, so I'll be at the conference then. Lots of cool speakers, including the likes of Balaji Srinivasan and Arthur Hayes. Arthur Hayes is the one I really want to catch.
Yeah.
His latest piece, which I highly recommend, which I think is called Kite or Board, which is on his Substack, is really, really good. And he mentions the talk he's going to be doing in Singapore there. He's apparently going to tell us all about the shitcoin that he is buying into like crazy. During that talk. So that's the only reason I'm going.
You have to keep us posted how that goes, because I'm very curious to hear.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I won't tell anyone. I'll rush out and buy it first. Okay. So yes, right. Let's talk about some of the stories then. But folks, do let us know in the comments whether Jessica should go to this event tonight, or whether she should just go home and watch. What are you watching at the moment? Anything in particular?
No, nothing in particular. So I'm also open to recommendations on what to watch. Yesterday, I listened to your Twitter space.
Oh yeah.
Great. With Ben and with Gareth Soloway. So
yes,
I really enjoyed that.
That was a good space, actually. We had Ben Cowan, Gareth Soloway. We had Ram Aluwalia as well, and Irina Hiva. We were talking about kind of ETFs and grayscale and a sort of general market update. And it was a good one. We had a lot of fun. And of course, we had the Twitter space last week on Friday with Charles Hoskinson, which was fascinating. That is linked to, I think, on our Twitter page. So if you haven't had a listen to that, that is well worth it. What did you think, Jessica? Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. And I do want to ask a little bit more about your opinion on the alien topic that came up.
Yeah, he was fascinating, Charles, because like every sort of, we talked about so many different things. We talked about, Cardano, but we talked about aliens and bison and sleep. And I just kind of left with the impression that he's sort of one of these guys who's got, something interesting to say about pretty much anything you like. But yeah, he's been searching for evidence of alien life. He thinks that, as I remember rightly, he seems to think that because the idea of alien beings, already being here or in contact with us is just so, it's so laughable to many that it's kind of suppressed. And so to talk about that sort of thing makes you seem like a crank. Mm-hmm. But he wanted to go out and find out for himself, and they have found something. They have found these spherules, apparently. So there's a paper out about it, and they're making a documentary for Netflix as well.
This is what I can't wait for. These are the kind of things that I love to see. Yeah.
So keep a lookout for that. So no go for Jessica tonight. 40 minutes. It's too much. Relax instead. That's We Talk NFTs. Woohoo. Okay. So you're off the hook at the moment. Unless other people wade in the comments and say that you have to go. Okay, let's just see what someone's just written the word go. again. Go. All right, mobile credits. That's what we'll do. We'll go. Okay. Right. So what were we going to talk about in the news?
We have a few interesting topics today. One of the highlights for me that I saw over the last kind of 24 hours that broke off was an interesting update when it comes to on and off ramping in and out of crypto. As we know, getting in and out of crypto, you need to use a centralized exchange, and it's normally kind of a tricky process to get out of crypto depending on kind of your bank, your jurisdiction, and it's something that has got easier over the years, but it's still not as smooth as it could be for that kind of global adoption of crypto. So MetaMask has announced a new feature, which is called their portfolio sell feature. So this is for ETH sales on MetaMask, and you can directly sell into your bank account. So they're using a range of different service providers. So it's a pretty interesting one. And what they do is they aggregate 4 or 5 different service providers. They've got MoonPay, a few others, and you'll be able to check the most competitive rates. Pick the one that you want. MetaMask also takes a 1% fee. So this is not kind of the cheapest off-ramp solution out there, but then it can go directly into your bank account. And I mean, people can say what they want about kind of MetaMask and the fees that will come with it when it comes to gas fees, especially if ETH prices increase, which we're hoping they do in the next year or two.
Certainly hope so.
But any additional on and off ramps that make it more accessible to use crypto and get in and out of crypto easier, I see as good news for the industry.
Absolutely. Yes, so many people I see on Twitter and elsewhere, so many people, I get messages from so many people as well saying it is just so hard to get fiat into and out of crypto at the moment. And that in many ways is deliberate, especially in the US. That's a big part of this sort of Operation Choke Point 2.0 that's been going on. That's targeting crypto in a way that makes it harder and harder for people to on and off ramp into fiat. So yeah, this is a good thing to see from MetaMask. And there is they introduced a buy feature quite recently as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and they also had some announcements with PayPal kind of late last year and early this year as well. So MetaMask are really working to try and make it easier for you to get in and out of crypto. There seems to have been a lot of developments for the team over the last year specifically. And let's see if it pays off in the next bull market and see if they are used as another alternative and people do move away from centralized exchanges. I think the FTX fallout might have repercussions for new investors, new retail users, and they might be able to go directly to DEXs and the likes of MetaMask directly. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, as you say, like people sort of have mixed opinions on MetaMask, don't they? I know a lot of people are not fans of it at all. And look, I think there's certainly plenty of room for improvement there. But to give them their credit, things like buy and sell into fiat, that is an improvement as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people are sort of saying, this sell feature is just sort of going to get even more people out of crypto, which, yes, there is an uncomfortable truth there, but it's about giving people the option, isn't it? I think that's really important. Okay, they might exit altogether, and that would be a shame, but it's important that they have the ability to do that.
And I love to get the market vibe. So MetaMask made the announcement, and I was going through the quote tweets and some of the replies. Crypto Twitter and the crypto community is one of the wittiest communities because everyone was like, dude, read the room. Like, no one is selling crypto right now. We're in the peak of a bear market. And it was kind of funny to read some of the comments and replies. So if you do have kind of 5 or 10 minutes in your day to scour through the comments, I recommend it. You'll have a little giggle at some of the memes.
Okay, good to know. Have you heard anything about, I think it's pronounced Rabby Wallet? There's someone here, Victor, in the comments. And I have seen Rabby Wallet. I think it's pronounced Rabby. I have seen stuff on Twitter. Sorry, I refuse to call it X. I have seen stuff on Twitter about Rabby Wallet. I know a lot of people are talking about it. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Have you heard of that? Has that come across your radar?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay. Anyone else in the comments used Rabby Wallet? Know anything much about it? Because obviously, an alternative to MetaMask is, not good for MetaMask, but it is good in terms of giving users options. So I'd be interested to see if more people know anything about that. It's one of the things that's sort of on my mental list of things to check out, which means I'll probably get round to it at the end of the bull market.
We're all going to make it, guys.
We're all going to make it. Don't worry. One thing I didn't think we sort of made a note to cover was this thing about Gala as well. Did you see that? The Gala founders, the whole Gala project, which we talked about on the channel before. We did a video on it a while back. Gala, an interesting project, like obviously lots of potential in terms of GameFi adoption and what have you. But it seems like it's really sort of going down the tubes behind the scenes. The founders are sort of suing each other for hundreds of millions of dollars. So without wanting to FUD that too much, that's again a kind of classic bear market story, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. What else? What else are we talking about today?
Let's wrap up the payment segment of today, because I think another big news that you guys might have seen, Visa is launching a pilot program where merchants can actually receive USDC, and it's using Solana. So that's really interesting for people that are following on the Solana blockchain. As we know, Solana, oh, sorry, my voice is going a little croaky from the...
Sorry, it's quite dry in here, isn't it? Yes, Solana is... do you want to pick it up?
I will absolutely pick up where I left off. Solana was obviously one of the kind of top performers and talked about tokens of 2021. This was like exponential growth. I think I was looking into 17,500% up in 2021. Obviously, because a lot of the NFT projects were using the Solana blockchain. And since then, the growth has not just subsided, it has kind of significantly declined.
Yeah.
And kind of the block recently did a report covering how Solana user base is really significantly fallen to 3-year lows. No surprise, we are in a lull of a crypto market right now, but this could potentially revive. So Visa is one of the first major payment companies to utilize Solana for live settlements between clients. And Solana, as we know, is super scalable. It's a very fast blockchain, 50,000 transactions per second. One thing about this is I was looking in Visa's PR messaging, and they just are very technology inclusive. So they're saying, we're looking to improve the speed of our cross-border settlements and modern options for clients. They have their head of crypto, a guy called Coy Sheffield, and he's saying that Visa is really committed to being at the forefront of digital currencies and blockchain innovation, which I thought was a pretty nice kind of roundup for what we are seeing as a quiet news week.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you consider that the likes of Visa and MasterCard are sort of directly threatened by crypto, they have both been really proactive about integrating it. I mean, MasterCard has done, I think, has been even more sort of ahead of the game than Visa on that regard. And so it seems like at certain points, it seems like there's a kind of announcement every week of MasterCard integrating with this or that, or Visa doing the same. But yeah, this is certainly good news for Solana, because Solana needs some good news because it's been a pretty terrible year. Do you know, like I see a lot of talk out there about Solana at the moment. A lot of people, I think it's one of the perhaps more divisive projects out there. I think there are still plenty of people who absolutely love it, and there are plenty of people who absolutely hate it, and seem to kind of want it to go to zero. But there does seem to be a lot more sort of confidence in the ecosystem.
Yeah,
it's obviously after FTX and Alameda, who are some of the biggest investors in it, or if not the biggest investors, still hold an enormous amount of SOL. Solana was in a heck of a lot of trouble. There was talk about how much runway it had, how long it was going to be able to survive. And look, it's not out of the woods in that regard, is it? Because there are at some point FTX and Alameda, those holdings are going to have to be sold.
Yeah. So
there is kind of that whole hanging over the Solana project, the Solana ecosystem, but. That said, I've seen a lot of talk about how there does seem to be reviving a little bit, despite this kind of drop in user numbers that you mentioned that the block was talking about. I did see something that was saying kind of TVL, obviously that collapsed post FTX, was starting to lift again. I did kind of look on DeFi Llama, and it's still very flat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there does seem to be. I think really the key takeaway here is it's far too early to sort of write Solana off in that regard.
And also this week, we saw Rune, who is the co-founder of MakerDAO, tweeted on the weekend. We did an Instagram reel and TikTok about this on Monday, that they're looking to build New Chain, which is the future of MakerDAO. And they're also using Solana code base. So it will likely be a fork of the Solana code base. So there's been a few kind of durable references to Solana's code base and Solana's kind of ecosystem. And go back to what you said about Visa and MasterCard. I mean, Visa and MasterCard are the two payment powerhouses here, and they are kind of fighting for equity in the crypto space. So when it comes to acquiring collaborations with CryptoCard, we saw Visa come out with Crypto.com in 2021. You're constantly seeing these two really kind of butt heads to make sure they're at the forefront of innovation. And it's great that they're both welcoming crypto. If they were both shying away from it, I think we would feel a little bit differently about kind of how they're looking to encompass crypto adoption and spending on a crypto card in the future. So this is great news for the two. And we might see that MasterCard will maybe up their game and also get involved somehow. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? A few people mentioning in the comments about Solana and its famous outages.
Yes.
Which is Solana, as I remember, Solana has managed to stay online for a few months now, which is good. Long may that continue. Mr. Beach, oh, I see what you did there, Mr. Beach, says much prefer Rabby over MetaMask.
I'm going to have to check out Rabby at the end of this. Thank you, guys, because we do read these comments and we do go through and...
Yeah. Sol hasn't had a nap all year, and it seems as if it won't be allowed to fail. So I won't say the last bit of that, because that might be interpreted as financial advice. But yeah, Solana certainly seems to have managed to stay online for a surprisingly long amount of time. So that's good. Well done, Solana. Okay. Right. What are we going to talk about now then?
Well, seeing as someone did reference the Solana outages, I think it's quite a nice transition to go into the growing pains of crypto. In a bear market, it's the time to build, and outages do come from new layer twos. So Base had an outage of around 40 minutes.
Yes, this was last night, I think, and yeah, the chain was down for about 40 minutes. They managed to get it started up again, which is good. Also, you know, a little concerning, and it reminded me of something that we found when we were sort of digging through Base for the tutorial video that we did a few weeks ago. Yeah. And that was that, and this was confirmed in the documentation. Base is powered by just a single sequencer node, and that's obviously operated by Coinbase. And the Block Explorer says the same thing. Basically, every block on Base is produced by a single node, which I think, you know, speaks pretty clearly about the whole centralization issues with Ethereum layer twos. You know, these layer twos are amazing projects, many of them. Base is a fascinating project. They are amazing, these layer twos, but no getting away from the fact that they are, in most cases, very, very centralized. And quite a few people have raised the alarm about this. And I mean, I think this Base outage kind of points to that.
Yeah. And I think it's only been, Base has been up and running for 4 weeks, 5 weeks now.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, not very long. Not very long. So it's a little bit worrying that they're starting to have outages already. I mean, I guess you have to give projects some sort of leeway, don't you? You have to say, like, look, you know, you got to have some time to perfect it. You've got to have some deal with user demand, deal with traffic, etc., etc. So I guess it's perhaps someone pointing out outages will come in a bull market. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I suppose it is a little bit worrying if your outages are coming in a bear market when really not an awful lot is happening. I guess this is the best time for them to come.
Yes, this is the best time to probably experience the growing pains, because if it's at the peak of the market, the outage may have lasted longer. There might have been more kind of risks to the protocol that were going along with that. But we'll have to wait and see if any more of these issues arise. We'll be keeping a close eye on that one. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Shall we talk about Tether? Yes, let's do it. Tether, which is now becoming a sort of global player. So this was fascinating. I think I saw something about this fairly recently, and then it was talked about more yesterday. So obviously, as I'm sure most of you know, Tether backs all the USDT in circulation. Well,
we hope it backs all the USDT in circulation. And always a little bit cagey on whether that is the case. However, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say we believe that they back all the USDT in circulation with a number of different assets. The most notable of which is US Treasuries. Now, you've noted here, Jessica, Tether currently has a market cap of around $82.9 billion, and nearly 87% of that is backed by $72.5 billion in US debt.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's fascinating is, isn't it, that so obviously Tether has to go and buy US Treasuries in order to back that USDT, and it now buys more US Treasuries than a number of countries.
Yeah. United Arab Emirates being one of them. I thought that was absolutely remarkable, because it just helps give context to the sheer size of these kind of acquisitions of like treasury bills, for example. You think how much is 72 billion in layman's terms, and when you compare it to the acquisitions compared to other countries, it really Tether is a top exposure in US Treasury bills, top 22 buyer globally, above the UAE, Mexico, Australia, and Spain.
Wow. God, you'd have thought, I mean, all those, those are fairly, the UAE is not a huge country, but Mexico, Australia, and Spain are big, big developed economies.
Yeah.
That is crazy, as is the UAE, just not quite as big. That is really fascinating, isn't it? And of course, Tether makes an absolute ton of money from these treasury bills, and that's why the business model is kind of genius. They issue all this USDT, they go into the treasuries market to back it, they get a return on those treasuries, and the likes of Tether, but also other stablecoin companies like USDC is making an absolute ton of money from the reserves backing Circle, I should say, is making a ton of money from the reserves backing USDC. So being a big centralized stablecoin issuer is nice work if you can get it.
Yeah. And what was interesting, so the CTO of Tether tweeted out and said that in Q2 of this year, Tether's operational profits around $1 billion. And the main component of profits are the interest of treasury bills that Tethers hold as part of the reserves.
Wow.
So it helps keep them afloat.
Yeah. Yeah. That said, we obviously want to see a truly decentralized stablecoin as soon as possible. There are some ones out there. I think they're still away from being perfect and usable yet, but we are getting there. I think centralized stablecoins are, they do have their own risks, but you've got to hand it to these guys. They certainly know how to make money. And of course, there's this PayPal stablecoin now as well.
Yeah, PYUSD.
Yeah. Yeah, just again, that's the sort of news that comes in a bear market, and I think is easily forgotten. But I think, and a lot of other people have said as well that this news of PayPal issuing a stablecoin is potentially really, really big, because it could foreshadow many other payment giants. I mean, could we soon see perhaps Visa or MasterCard issuing their own stablecoin? Could we see other massive companies? Because PayPal is a big company, but it's pretty small in comparison to some of them out there.
It is interesting. We'll have to wait and see, because anything that these payment giants can add on and build that can make their transactions as frictionless as possible is going to help our industry grow, the crypto industry, but also help their businesses grow. So it seems like a no-brainer for crypto adoption.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So Shane42 is saying still on the fence about Sol, so he'll stick with Atom and ETH. That is, not a bad call. I've just realized I've left Neil's comment about being from Wales up for the whole stream. Neil, it means a lot that you're from Wales. I should probably put someone else's comment up at some point. Except for Bitcoin and Ethereum, safe bets in my opinion. Yep. Well, as bets come in crypto, BTC and ETH are probably your safest at the moment. Sol will definitely run in the bull, but the venture capitalists will dump before you. Yeah. Sol is definitely one of those heavy VC coins, and that is definitely something to remember if you're if you ever plan to go into it. So, lots of people saying we have to get out of centralized stablecoins, which I think is very, very true. Yeah. So let's have a look. What else are people talking? Well, what else did we have lined up to talk about today?
So actually, we have ran through our main topics for today. We also had a kind of a little light piece of news when it comes to Binance Charity has done a survey of the kind of philanthropists that like to donate money to charity. And 32% of people surveyed said they like to donate cryptocurrencies rather than fiat, which I thought was interesting. Obviously, because of the traceability element, you can actually see that the money is going to the donated cause that you would like it to, rather than a kind of black box of investment where you're not really sure if all of the funds end up where they're needed. I thought that was just kind of an interesting, slight little hint of adoption kind of outside the crypto world, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and it talks to how, you know, transparency in crypto. Again, people forget this. So many people, when they criticize crypto, say, oh, it's anonymous, it's used for money laundering. Crypto is hugely transparent. You can track virtually everything, you know, apart from things like privacy coins like Monero. You know, most crypto transactions can be tracked, so you can see where the money is going. Now, obviously, that's not always ideal for people, but, you know, in terms of giving to charity, you want to be confident that it's gone to the right address. It's gone to the place that it's designed to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is nice to see, because we have seen some of the big kind of household names in our industry that have used cryptocurrencies to help facilitate some of these kind of emergency donations, whether there's been kind of like a geopolitical issue or something going on, which is more kind of economic. So it's nice to see that crypto is being used for social good, because sometimes the stories that we hear can be a little bit of the opposite.
Yeah, a little bit not so social, not so good. Christian points out that the most fascinating thing in the USA debt in total, over $30 trillion. Fascinating, and also kind of scary as well. Yeah, it always blows my mind. I remember we were covering the raising of the debt ceiling a few months ago, and you know, there was all that business about will they, won't they, and of course they did. But it's always just you always just to be reminded of just how much debt the US has racked up, and it just keeps adding to the pile. Sooner or later, it's not gonna work out. Someone else asking, Guy, any plans on going to Cosmoverse in Istanbul? Now, I've been talking to Michael about this. Michael, who runs CryptoCito. If you're a Cosmos fan, if you're interested in the Cosmos ecosystem, then do check out CryptoCito. He's a Cosmos-focused YouTuber. He is really, really good, very, very knowledgeable, and a really nice chap as well. We have been talking about Cosmoverse. I'm not certain I'm going to be able to make it yet. I'm still kind of looking into it. My travel plans are a little bit all over the place at the moment, because we've got there's a few places that I'm looking to travel to soon. So I'm not 100% sure on Cosmoverse yet. But Michael is such a good guy, and I think it will be a really awesome conference. So do go along if you're in Istanbul on I'll have to remember the dates of that, but do look it up. Okay, what else? Oh yes, I was going to point out, we're just going very quickly back to Tether. I don't know if any of you guys follow the Defiant, which is a great DeFi focused YouTube channel run by Camilla Russo. If you go and check that out, she did an interview about last week with Paolo Arduino, the CTO of Tether. Oh. Now, I don't think, from what I've seen, Paolo doesn't tend to do that much in the way of interviews. It kind of fits with the whole sort of Tether not being the most transparent organization. And that interview is an interesting one, because, there are still a few sort of questions remaining at the end of it. But Camilla Russo is awesome. The Defiant is awesome. So do check that interview out. Can I leave a link in the description? I should try and do that. We'll try and leave a link in the description, but otherwise just type the Defiant Crypto into YouTube and you'll find it's one of the more recent videos. Okay, so that was someone's brain hurts, apparently. Some people miss SBF. He pumped the market for us. Yes, and then spectacularly dumped it as well. I don't think we should be longing for the days of SBF, people. Okay, well, that was kind of all we were going to talk about today, really, wasn't it?
That was. We'll keep a close ear to the ground because, like you've said, there is Token 2049 next week that you'll be attending. There's the Singapore Blockchain South Korea week this week. So there is a lot of conferences going on. If there's any interesting news breaks that come from that, we will be letting you know.
Yeah.
And also let us know in the comments what kind of conferences, if any, you guys will be going to in the next few months as well. And curious to see where is good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be fascinated to hear what conferences people are wanting to go to, where they're planning to travel to and stuff, because there are so many happening. And that, again, for me, that's always a sign of sort of, health in the industry. Sentiment may be low. It may feel like no one's really paying much attention. But there are still so many industry events happening. There is so much kind of happening beneath the surface, behind the scenes, and that should give you hope for the bull run returning eventually. I still think we've got a good few months ahead of us. 2024 is going to be tough, folks, but it is going to improve in due course. So hang on in there.
Hang on there. Do you have a favorite crypto conference that you've gone to?
Well, I really enjoyed Bitcoin Miami last year. That was great. That was just before sort of everything kind of went south. But that was fascinating. That was really my first big crypto event. So
nice.
I was kind of pretty wide-eyed at that. The Coin Bureau event last year and this year, they were pretty cool. But yeah, really looking forward to Token 2049 and hopefully a few others as well in the not too distant future. And the Bitcoin conference next year is in Nashville.
Oh, nice choice.
Yeah, which I hear is a bit of a wild town. So
see, I'm quite boring. So I was hoping it would be calmer than Miami because I've heard Bitcoin Miami is a little bit of a party, but Nashville maybe is a party too. Do we have anyone from Nashville listening in? Maybe they can confirm it.
Yeah, any Nashville folks in the comments, let me know.
You've got your cowboy hat from the Jackson Hole video as well, so you can bring that.
I've got the costume already. That's great. Okay, well, thanks for joining us today, folks. We will be back at the same time next week. Let's hope there's some more good news to report on.
I think you'll be in Singapore next week.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right. I'll be in Singapore next week. Maybe I'm going to try and do a live stream from Singapore if I can.
Nice.
I'm also going to do a Twitter space on, well, I'm not sure what day yet, but I think it would be quite fun to just sort of report back to people on what I've been seeing and hearing at Token 2049. So I will do some live stuff for you guys next week, keep you up to date with what's going on. And then we'll be back as normal the following week.
That's awesome. Well, have a great trip. I know I'm going to see you before you go anyway, because we're in the same office. But a live stream would be great, so I can pick your brains from here, and then we can relive it like we're there, guys, even though we're not in Singapore.
Fantastic. Nashville was a ton of fun. There we are. Great. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. See you again soon. All the best.
See you.
See ya.